Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm in a bit of a different environment today, so hopefully the picture and the sound is okay. Darren's actually working up in our office, which is usually where I film my videos, so I thought I would come down here and share a book review with you today, because I've just finished this last night and I could not put it down. I pretty much spent all day Sunday reading it, and it is definitely one of my favourite reads of the year, so I definitely wanted to share it with you and share my thoughts. So the book I have to share with you today is The Examiner by Janice Hallett. I think this is the fourth or fifth adult fictional book she's done. I think she might have done a YA book as well, but I've read I think all of her books up until now except for one, and then she's got another one being released this September, I believe. And I picked this one up when we were in London. If you've not seen my London bookshop crawl video and the subsequent haul, then I will throw those up in the cards and try and link them down below. But I picked this up from Daunt Books, and this is the book itself. Focus. And it's got very cool scorpion sprayed edges, which become apparent why they're there in the book. And also this is a signed copy. You can just about see her signature in there. And so yeah, let me tell you, well, first I'll read the back of the book and then I'll tell you some of my thoughts. So it says, a masterclass in murder. The mature students of Royal Hastings University's new art course has been nothing but trouble. From setting fire to one another's artwork to an extramarital affair and a disastrous road trip. Course leader Gayla Nathaniel is at her wit's end, but finally they are given their last assessment, an art installation for a local manufacturer. With 6 students who have nothing in common except their clashing personal agendas, what could possibly go wrong? The answer is murder. When the external examiner arrives to assess the student's coursework, he becomes convinced that a student was killed on the course and that the others covered it up. But is he right? Only a close examination of the evidence will reveal the truth. Turn over your papers, your time starts now. So that just like drew me straight in. I was quite interested reading about like an art course, because I did a course back in college that was art and photography centred, so I could envision it pretty well. And yeah, it just seemed, like her other books, a really good plot line. Now if you've not read her other books, her style of writing is very much all laid out in mainly emails, text messages, WhatsApp messages, sort of letters. It's all very easily readable and digestible, which is what I love, and it makes for a really good page turner. It's really easy just to keep flying through it, read one more page, read another, because there aren't such defined chapters in this book. And yeah, that is sort of the thing that I really like about Janice Hallett's work, and I just think it's really unique. I've not read anything else like it. So this book follows 6 students who, varying in ages and backgrounds, who have come together on this art course. We also get the perspective of the main tutor, the main course leader, who is Gayla. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I did try and look it up and they do explain it in the book. I think it's Gayla, but apologies if that's wrong. And so she's sort of set up this brand new course at this university, and so we follow them along as they progress through their coursework, their assignments, learning to you know, bond and teamwork together, whilst also, you know, finding out about themselves. And obviously from the start we get the impression that something's not gone quite right on this course, something's gone wrong. Has there been a murder? At the very start we are introduced to the examiners. So you've got Tilda and you've got Karen, who are the examiners at the university, and then you've got Ben, who is an external examiner who has taken all this information. So all of the messages that they've got from Doodle, which is sort of the university's intranet, all the texts, all the WhatsApps, all the messages and emails, all the documents and the coursework that's been handed in, and he's been able to take all of that and not only obviously give them their final grades, but try and solve this mysterious event, this potential murder. And yeah, so it starts off you know something's happened, but you don't quite know what, and we're sort of piecing it together as it goes along. And for me, I really love with these books just sitting back and watching it unfold. Like, I don't feel like I have to try too hard to solve the murder or the mystery. I just think things just evolve and are uncovered to you as the book goes on. This book has a lot of twists and turns throughout. It's not a book where it sort of paces along and then you've got one big plot twist at the end. That's not the case. With this, you have multiple bits of information that are uncovered to you that are going to make you gasp, that are going to make you just like be in absolute awe how you didn't pick that up beforehand. And that's what I really like. It just keeps you entertained, keeps you gripped. And that is why I pretty much finished this in about 3 days. And it's not I mean, obviously, like, some pages don't have that much writing, but it's still a 500-page book. And yeah, I just flew through it so quickly. And I could have definitely finished it in 2 days, but I was trying to save for the last 50 pages. So I did keep that for the next day. So yeah, if you think you might read it, then potentially you want to obviously switch off now, because the following bits might contain some spoilers, my more thoughts on the characters. So if you want to go into this totally blind, if you know, you know, then click out this video and yeah, I will not be offended. Let me know in a comment down below if you've clicked out because you want to read it. But let's get into my thoughts on the book and some aspects of the plotline. So one thing I love about this book is the added humour that is in it. I think there are so many funny things that literally make me laugh out loud, and that is something that Janice's books have always done for me. It's very rare that I will openly sort of laugh while reading a book or actively cry, but these books are just so funny despite having some quite sinister sort of topics within them. So for instance, you know, when the clay was thrown in the studio and Patrick snapped at Jem over Doodle, that was pretty funny. And just also some of like the more gruesome stuff towards the end, just like the whole thought of them sort of putting in resin. I'm going to spoil it, so you better have clicked out. The whole bit of them putting Cameron's head in resin and putting it within Jem's head sculpture, just genius. It did remind me a little bit of The Christmas Appeal, and if you've read that book then you'll know the outcome of that. It sort of had a similarity there. But I just thought this was so well done. There were a few things that really caught me by surprise, and the main one being that Jem is blind. They say she's blind from birth. I don't know how, like, if she's fully sight impaired or she does see sort of lights and shadows. They don't really discuss that too much. But I was like, how have we not known that? Like, that's what makes the writing so good, is that we had absolutely no inkling, no idea. And I think that's because, and I was a little bit confused because obviously Jem said she goes in every day. She was taking pictures of Alison's workstation, and she knew that she hadn't been in there hadn't been a change. Which obviously, saying that she had photographed things makes you think obviously she could see what she was photographing. And thinking back, she said she shared it, I think, with her mum or her nan, and they said, yeah, things haven't changed. So that now I'm putting 2 and 2 together, that obviously she asked maybe other people just to confirm if there had been any changes. But obviously it made sense why she was super aware of sort of sounds, and obviously doing these soundscapes and sense of people being in the studio. She was totally aware of that. You know, you start to sort of piece things together now that we know, and it would be interesting to reread it and, you know, actually now we know that fact and see, oh, okay, we can sort of interpret that a little bit differently now, rereading it. And I quickly suspected that there was something not more sinister, but maybe a double motive for Gayla, obviously their main tutor. She was being a little bit too friendly, I think, with the students, and then obviously it became more and more apparent. We thought maybe she was having a relationship with Cameron. Obviously that didn't prove to be the case, but they were having conversations that were very private between them. And obviously as the plotline unfolded and we found out more about the reasons why everyone was on the course, and their ulterior motives, it sort of uncovered obviously her true feelings for the people on the course and why she had brought them in. And I think for me, my favourite character was Jem throughout this. You know, at the start she seemed very sort of, she was obviously the youngest out of them all. They were all sort of older, established artists, or, you know, in their 30s, 40s, 50s. Jem very much seemed sort of early 20s, just coming out of, you know, her last degrees. And despite that, she was very sort of, I did think that she was quite clued on into what everyone's movements were, and maybe that was because she was blind and she was being sort of hyper aware of everyone. But also she was very quick to make sure she got what she wanted, that everyone was being treated fairly, especially considering she didn't want to, you know, she didn't see her blindness as a disability. And I thought that was a really great aspect of her character. And she was very much willing to throw any of the other students under the bus to make sure that she achieved what she needed and make sure that the rest of the group weren't put out. For example, when she thought Alison was sort of stealing supplies, she was very quick to sort of try and nip that in the bud. So it didn't then affect, you know, the rest of the group, the resources, and obviously she wants justice. She's very much a rule follower, and I probably saw a little bit of myself in her at that point, but she was very much a tattletailer and I just thought that was really funny. And when they all went to Somerset and she had really sneakily changed their room reservations to be one room, I just thought that was genius. And again, that was a moment that just made me laugh. Yeah, I just thought she was very sneaky, and I thought she was a really, really good character. And there weren't really any characters in this book that I necessarily disliked, and this book had a way of sort of taking you in different directions where you thought you ended up knowing sort of the motive of someone being on the course, and then you get another piece of information sort of trickled out, and it sort of takes a complete new turn. And I think that's the best thing about sort of a mystery and a thriller, is when you really can't predict things. Obviously this is just my sort of viewpoint, but I mean, Janice Hallett's books, I cannot say highly enough about her books, because they really just grip me in, and I know that I'm going to enjoy them. So needless to say, it was a 5 out of 5 star book. The book that's coming out in September, I think, is called, I want to say it's like the pub quiz. It's set around a pub quiz, so it's obviously going to be in like an English countryside pub. So it's called The Killer Question, but yeah, set around pub quizzing, I believe. So yeah, I think that would be quite sort of similar in feel to when she's done The Appeal and then Christmas Appeal, sort of a small town feel. I think I've not actually read the blurbs for that, so I don't know. So that's my review on The Examiner. I am just about to start, in fact, I've read sort of the first 20 pages of Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. My first book written by her that I've read, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not normally a romance book girly, but seeing as it's kind of a bit more fictional and more character driven, I thought I would give it a go, and I love anything set in space, so I will let you know probably what I think of that one at some point. Make sure you're following my Goodreads down below. I will also link my TikTok, because I'm getting more active on there, doing little TikToks, so if you want to follow me along, see what I'm reading sort of in the moment, or see some fun little videos, more in a short form if you prefer to sort of consume that way, then that is over there. But yeah, I will see you very soon. Bye guys.